Hovannes, good to see you from Yerevan. So we know there is a new system, there is a parliament election, Armenia is switching on to the parliamentary republic from the semi-presidential. But the first question would be how the elections are going in general today with all these new things. So we know about the, we can follow the election live. So how would you assess the day?
Hi, first of all, thanks for having me. The elections are, well, so far so good. There are irregularities obviously reported by many parties around, including by almost 20,000 observers, including from OSCE, ODIHR, and other internal and international organizations. But the quality of the irregularities is suggesting that those are only, scattered, in different precincts and are barely systematic. But what is more important, I think, what I can elaborate deeper about is the meaning of these elections. These are the first parliamentary elections following the constitutional amendments of December 2015. As you rightly mentioned, transitioning Armenia into a fully fledged parliamentary republic, to which Armenia has been going since the re-establishment of its independence in 1990. Actually, the Declaration of Independence of August 1990 proclaimed parliamentary republic. Then the first constitution was adopted to establish a strong presidential system following the Karabakh War in 1995. Then the constitution was amended in 2005, transitioning to a semi-presidential system. And now we are finally going to where we originally belonged to. That's parliamentary system.
But still, what it would mean in practice, for instance, what we can assume the governing party, the Republican Party, if they get the most of the votes, that still them would form the government, as we know, the parliament would vote for the president next year. So what we can expect, what political change we can expect from this new parliament? Of course, we don't know yet the results, but maybe you can also elaborate more on that, about the chances and to what would be the impact?
Well, basically, the textbook explanation of this change is that in parliamentary republics, the political system becomes stronger. The political parties become stronger, and you gradually do the transit from individualistic parties to one-man shows, basically, to a more systematic political system.
But what would it mean from the point of view of the political ideology? So still, do we know, can we expect any political change and the change of the political path of Armenia? We know there are 5 parties taking part in this election, the 4 political blocs. So would we expect that there would be the same party governing Armenia, and would there be any change in their policy? And we're speaking about the internal politics and as well external foreign policy.
Well, let me dwell on the foreign policy part. By far, all the political parties contesting, as well as blocs, as you rightly mentioned, contesting in these elections, barely have any differences in foreign policy agenda. With maybe one exception, all the parties are, arguing for stronger ties with Russia, for the maintenance of closer ties with the European Union, with stronger ties with the United States, and basically continuing this foreign policy of balance that Armenia has been, following for a number of years now. But obviously, since the political parties have no basic changes in their foreign policy platforms, they also don't have any major, differences on their approach to Nagorno-Karabakh resolution, with the exception of one. The Armenian National Congress, led by the first president of the country, says that the Republic of Armenia shall move faster towards building consensus with Azerbaijan.
Then what would be the difference between the parties if we're speaking about the Armenian population?
Well, the difference is very banal. Let me put it this way. Given the recent electoral circles in many more developed countries, the party in government, the Republicans, are trying to be more reserved, more accurate with their promises to the electorate. They have been running this campaign on the premises of security and progress, slogan, and they were saying that we are ready for change. We will change ourselves, and we will change our country, and we are ambitious enough for that, and we have enough professionals for that. The others were not shy to give more populist, obviously, promises to the population as well as to the external powers. For example, one of the political blocs, the Tsarukan bloc, so-called, the leader of this bloc, one of the richest men in this country, promised 15 billion investment in the Armenian economy, which shortly became subject for trolling by the other parties. One of those promising another 17 million, the other 22 billion. The Communist Party, for example, which is also running in this election, surprisingly, has promised $100 billion of investment, which obviously is, I think, just funny. But that is just to say that the political campaign has been marked both with some, measured, some reasonable promises by the government, by the party in government, by the majority party, and by very much populist, promises by the other parties, promising more jobs, more, social security guarantees, more, better healthcare system and everything, which, however, hasn't been backed by, economic analysis, for example. The ideological, as you are framing it, ideological part of the campaign has been missing in these elections. It was more for the government party to argue that they will be keeping up with the reforms, and the others, scattering these different populist, promises, just running on the mood of the, taking on the mood of the electorate, not very much, based in, calculations or analysis. So it has been pretty much 21st century campaign full of, these false, not false, but, these post-truth, politics things with a lot of fact-checking has been done by the media, by the way.
And the last would be, what is the role of the big business? What we know, the current prime minister, one of the leaders of the pro-governmental party, is a former top manager of Gazprom. We have another politician numbers of the politicians who are representing the big business. So what is their role in Armenian politics today?
Well, the incumbent prime minister, who has been the running face, let me put it this way, of the government party, the Republican Party of Armenia, before assuming the top management, position in Gazprom, has worked for almost 2 years as mayor of Yerevan. So he's not new to Armenian political landscape, and he is barely, taken as a businessman in the larger, public. I think the Gallup organization has done a public opinion survey a week before the elections, and somewhere like 82% of the respondents, said that they would like to see Karin Karapetyan as the prime minister, which, however, didn't very much coincide with their responses on the government party, which was favored by only 35, I think, of the percent of the respondents. So the prime minister, is having more higher image in the society than the government party, which I think is reasonable in societies like Armenia, very much individualistic and very much paying attention to individuals. The other big businesses, as I mentioned, Gagik Tsarukan, running, who leads a bloc which most probably will, end up the second in these elections, thus forming the largest opposition group in the new parliament. Promises a lot of jobs, a lot of new investments, a lot of different things, provided that he gets a majority. But
thanks a lot. We'll follow. Thanks for your analysis.